Unit 14, Addison, Rodgers, and Wimble. Wimble is a character in the essays written by Joseph Addison. In most of his essay, Sir Rodger and Wimble will appear. Wimble meets Sir Rodger's family and dines with him. Sir Rodger observes Wimble to be a honest man who is a kind at heart. His age is around 40 to 50. He is the youngest son of an aristocratic family, and the family business is dealt by the oldest son according to the law of aristocratic families. So Wimble is left on his own. Since he is not good at studies, he is unable to pursue any professional business, but he is a creative man. And he finds himself that he is good in fishing rods and makes it his business. He is also good at hunting and a jack of small trades. He has good respect for his family. He is poor, yet he never forgets to give something, whatever is possible of him, to the person he visits. He is good at humor and is sociable. All these characters makes Will Williams a perfect gentleman. Let me explain the brief biography of Addison. Addison is one of the gentlest men. Early became a scholar of note along with Steele. He developed the English essay form in the direction indicated by Cowley and devoted himself to the production of short essays, which is suitable for publications in the periodicals, which began to be popular in the 18th century. They run two famous periodicals named The Tatler and The Spectator. His style is polished, easy, and pleasant, and his English was regarded as a model of perfection for 200 years. The critical summary of the essay. Well, the spectator, that is Rodger, was walking with Sir Rodger the other day. A country fellow came to him with a huge fish, which he told him was sent by Mr. William Wimble, who had caught it that morning. Mr. Wimble also sent a letter to Sir Rodger in which he requested him to accept this fish and also expressed the hope of coming to him soon. He ended his letter with a short description of how he had spent the last 6 days. The spectator wanted to know all about the strange gentleman, and he caught the eager, and so he created an interest to meet him, the Wimble. And he came to know that Wimble was a younger brother to a baronet and was a famous old family of the Wimbles. He guessed that his age is between 40 and 50. But he has not been bred up to any business. He spends his time by superintending his elder brother's game. His main occupation is hunting. But he is actually a very idle person and wastes his time with making trifle for the women folk. He often makes nets and presents them to his friends. At times he obliges the ladies with garters of his own knitting. So from this description of Wimble character, the spectator by Sir Rodger, interrupted by the arrival of Mr. Wimble himself. The spectator noticed how sincerely the old knight welcomed the gentleman, and how Wimble, on the other hand, was also so happy to meet Sir Rodger. Wimble desired that the knight to lend him one of his servants to carry a box of shuttlecocks to a lady whom he had promised the present for more than half a year. Will soon inform the spectator of his recent adventures in hunting, and they appealed to the spectator. Soon they all went to have their dinner. Here the first dish happened to be very fish, which he had caught that very morning by Wimble. Will naturally started a long story, but about he had hooked the fish, played with it, foiled it, and last he had brought it upon the bank. The next dish was wild fowl, also furnished Will with an interesting subject for conversation for the rest of the dinner. After the dinner, the spectator retired to his. He mused upon the character of William. He is thinking about him very deeply. He felt pity for that gentleman, Will Wimble. He felt that he has good heart and busy hands are wasting on these petty jobs. If he had attempted any occupation, he would have raised his fortune in another station of life. His services then would have been more beneficial. They would not care to go for a common profession which is beneath the quality. This often ruins the great families. In England, usually the younger son may choose any other profession. As a result of this, people who have started the merge means have been found to have risen to greater estates than those of elder brothers. Of course, here he points that the elder son always carries the profession of the father, whereas the youngest or the younger has been chance to choose a profession on their own. So the spectator imagine who is the keen observer of the entire actually scenes. He imagines that Will might have tried formerly at divinity, law or physics. But when all these failed, his family gave him up and left him with his own choice. The spectator thinks that Will was quite well qualified for trade and e-commerce. And let me summarize the text. So the character Rodgers has been depicted as kind and generous, although somewhat cool and unimpassioned, with a tendency for friendly acts. His pleasing manners and conversation added to his general popularity. Richard Steele visits his friend Roger D. Coverley at his house and receives a man with a huge fish with a letter. He is none other but Wimble. The fish was caught by Will Wimble and it was offered to Sir Roger D. Coverley. And he assures that he will visit him as soon. And he says he is a kind-hearted person who is about 40 to 50 and he has no specific business and he is doing all kind of job, handicrafts jobs and a small jack of all trades actually. But even though the character of Will Wimble has been described wonderfully, it is faithful to life. We can feel the ideal surrounding of a son of a gentry. There are possibilities in him, but he has no chance to put them into use. This is the tragedy to Will Wimble. Steele ends the prose by universally the problem of difference between two brothers, the younger and the elder. His essays are noted for their clarity and elegant style, as well as their cheerful and respectful humor. Yes, of course, this essay beautifully describes the problem of difference between two brothers, the younger and the eldest, in choosing the profession. Whether they carry the profession of their family or they are going to choose a new. That will decide whether it is going to be a happy or tragedy. And these are the two key terms which will help you to understand the technical meaning which I have used in that. And these are all the terminal questions. Thank you.